Hebrews 6 and 19. Which hope we have as an anchor of the soul, both sure and steadfast, and which entereth into that within the veil. I'd like to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Rachak Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, blessing, and safety to all the elect out there scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. This is the brother Hadabiar from the GMS Toronto camp, coming back at you with another one. And, Yahawashi is our anchor. He, in the midst of the storm, in the midst of the ups and downs of this life, the trials and tribulations, Yahawashi keeps us sturdy. He keeps us, just like when you have just like when you anchor a boat, when the waves start coming in, that boat may rock a little, it's going to rock a little because of the waves, it's going to shake a little, but it's not going to drift away. It's not going to be, the waves ain't gonna wash that boat away, or even sink it. Yahawashi is that anchor. In this wicked, evil world, we are blessed to have the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahawashi, on our side and working with us, and giving us that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Because people out here, they don't have that. The majority of the people out here don't have that. 2/3 of our people don't have it. And definitely these other nations don't have it. So, Hebrews 6 and 19, which hope we have as an anchor of the soul. That anchor, and our anchor is Yahawashi, like I said. I was just thinking about that, today, just, throughout the week, how blessed it is, to know how blessed, even the just starting off with his name alone, just starting off with that, because there's just so much power in the name of Yahweh, the Father, and the Son, Yahawashi. Yahawashi, there's so much power in his name. We truly fear and we truly believe in that name. We pray upon that name. We call upon him. We sigh and we cry every day, just longing, waiting for his return. But, we're patiently waiting. We ain't gonna give up hope. As long as Yahawashi is our anchor, we're gonna be good. We're gonna be good. We're gonna be taken care of. We're not gonna be washed away. This is Psalms chapter 62. And that's why, that's why you see, men that come into this thing, they the world, the things of this world just wash them away. Because they never had Yahawashi as an anchor. They were never truly rooted in the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahawashi. It's like they had the anchor in the water, but it wasn't all the way down. So the things of this life, just took them up out of here. And that's because the Lord The Lord was never dealing with them. So this is Psalms chapter 62, and I want to start at verse 6. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be moved. In Yahweh is my salvation and my glory, the rock of my strength, and my refuge is in Yahweh. So we can't be, we won't be moved. The elect of Yahawashi Is will not be moved. They're rooted. They're rooted in Yahawashi. Verse 8, trust in him at all times, ye people, pour out your heart before him. The Most High is a refuge for us, Salah. Like I said, we're constantly praying, constantly calling upon his name, giving him the praise, giving him the honor and glory, thanking him, every day. The water Yahawashi Shai, that I got through the day, got through another work day, made it home safe, have a roof over my head, or have the technology to be able to, bring forth, these videos, So verse 8 again, trust in him at all times. Ye people, pour out your heart before him. Yahweh is a refuge for us, Salah. Surely men of low degree are vanity, and men of high degree are a lie to be laid in the balance. They are altogether lighter than vanity. Trust not in oppression, and become not vain in robbery. If riches increase, set your heart upon them. Don't just trust in Yahweh Shai. Don't put your trust in men. Don't put your trust in the things of this world, because it could easily be taken away from you. You put your trust in man. They could easily switch upon you. Don't put your trust in riches. That comes and goes. Whereas Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, he's forever. We serve a power that's not wishy-washy. Not one day he's like this and another day he's like that. He's the same all the time. He's always righteousness. He's perfect. And when we have that as our anchor, when Yahawashi is our anchor, nothing can beat us. Yeah, you're gonna go through things. You gotta go through the storm. The boat's gonna get rocked a little. But you're gonna be good. Once that storm passes, Yahawashi is still with you. In the midst of the storm, Yahawashi is with you. As long as you truly believe in him, believing in him and serving him. Verse 11, the Most High has not spoken once, twice have I heard this, that power belongeth unto Yahweh. Also unto thee, O Lord, belongeth mercy, for thou renderest to every man according to his works. You gotta do the work. When you do the work, the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahshai, he's going to find mercy upon you. We're going to need the work, and we're going to need that anchor, especially in the time of Jacob's trouble. When every day is a chaotic day. When shit hits the fan. When things really start to get bad out here. They're bad now, but we know the time of Jacob's trouble is going to be a time like never before. We know the the MOTB. Once that gets made mandatory, it's gonna be a time like never before. And if Yahawashi is not your anchor, you know, when these things start to come to pass and happen, you know, you're gonna be washed away. You're gonna be washed away. You're gonna trust in Esau's, and then you're gonna be judged. So just believing and trusting Yahawashi Yahawashi. Proverbs 18:10. The name of the Lord, Yahawashi Yahawashi, is a strong tower, and the righteous run into it and is safe. Yahawashi he's just everything. He's that anchor. He's that strong tower. He's that shield. And in reality, he's like he's just everything. He's the ultimate weapon. He's just everything, and it's just and that's why we serve the Yahawashi Yahawashi with fear and trembling. These people out here calling upon false names, they have no fear. They don't even fear the false names that they're calling on, that they're glorifying. They don't fear. It's just it's a gimmick. It's just an act. We the elect, and I pray I'm of the elect, of the hopeful elect. We truly believe in Yahawashi Yahawashi. We understand that without him, we're nothing. We're nothing. You can't succeed without. You can't succeed. You can't obtain salvation unless Yahawashi Yahawashi is working with you. This is Matthew 7:24. Anyone who listens to my teachings and followings, and this is in the NLT, anyone who listens to my teaching and followings, it is wise, like a person who builds a house on solid rock. So, the point that I'm trying to say is, Yahawashi, he's that anchor, he's that rock, he's that solid foundation, he's that strong tower, he's that shield. He's the ultimate protection, and he's the comforter. Anyone who listens to my teaching and follows it, it is wise like a person who builds a house on solid rock. That's Yahawashi. That rock is Yahawashi. Though the rain comes in torrents and floodwaters rise, and the winds beat against that house, it won't collapse because it is built on bedrock. But anyone who hears my teaching and does not obey it is foolish like a person who builds a house on sand. When the rain and floods come and the winds beat against the house, it will collapse and with a mighty crash. Yeah, because you build a house on sand, when those waves come in, it gets washed away. It's like when you're building a sandcastle. You go to the beach. You're building a castle with sand. No matter how nice you make that sandcastle, no matter how big you make it, once that water starts to come upon the shore, that sandcastle gets washed away. Verse 28, when Yahawashi has finished saying these things, the crowds were amazed at his teaching, for he taught with real authority, quite unlike their teachers of religious law. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yahweh, the words of Yahawashi Yahawashi, that is true. There's like I said before, there's no gimmicks. There's no gimmicks in this thing. Yahawashi, he is the only way. He is the only way. And over here at Great Millstone, that's what we teach, starting off with our apostles and elders. Yahawashi is the only way. There's no way to salvation unless it's through Him. You can't even get to Yahweh unless you go through Yahawashi. You know that's why He is so important. He is so important. You know, and that's why He's that anchor. That's why He's that anchor. He's that foundation. He's that rock. And just, you know, continue to trust and believe in Him. You know, continue to build yourself up spiritually on the foundation. That foundation and that foundation is Yahawashi. That anchor is Yahawashi. So, you know, just, you know, don't give up. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. You know, things ain't always gonna be easy. You know, it's this journey. You know, this race. You know, it's like a marathon. You know, you can't sprint your way to salvation. You know, you know, it's gonna take endurance. As long as Yahweh Bashim Shaz work with you, you're gonna be all right. So that's gonna do it for this video. I give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahawashi, Ba'ashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace, blessing, and safety